Who doesn't love a good dungeon crawler? We certainly do here at I Dream of Indie Games. Slaying monsters and gaining experience and loot never gets old. Kind of like battling the echo chamber and creating independent content here at the channel. Yet as we know, there are countless indie games out there, and it can be very hard to decide which dungeon you should crawl through. Well, Old Gamer Joe is here to help because we've gathered 10 awesome indie dungeon crawlers that belong in your collection. And speaking of awesome things, we have a very fitting sponsor for today's video. We're talking about Top VR. They have just recently released a dungeon crawler of their own. It even has dungeon in the title. Dungeon Survivors is a 1 to 4 player co-op dungeon crawler with roguelite elements. For all you rogue fans out there, you should definitely applaud that. If the adorable art style doesn't suck you in, perhaps the addictive gameplay will, which can be enjoyed online as well. Taking place from the top-down perspective, players can choose between 5 different classes as they slay monsters with an assortment of magical and physical attacks. Let's get physical! Are you able to survive 25 insane waves of carnage? Well, if you can, your only reward will be what? A grueling boss encounter, of course. Should players be able to survive these monstrosities, they will be rewarded with new cards to use. With its very fast-paced battle system, leaderboards, awesome co-op options, and adorable art direction, Dungeon Survivors looks like a complete winner to us. Even better, the game is available on Steam right now. Yes, that's correct. Right now. Please consider using the link in our description box below where you can purchase Dungeon Survivors for yourself, or at the very least, add it to your wish list. Once again, a very special thanks to Top VR for sponsoring this video, but now, raise your swords! We've got to head into the dungeons and get to these top 10 selections. Number 10, a first-person dungeon crawler up first called Undernauts, Labyrinth of Yomi. You and a group of adventurers will explore the Yomi dungeon together, where horrors await. This game is wonderful at creating a bleak, tense atmosphere. There is a good variety of characters with unique attributes to choose between, and excellent art throughout. I especially enjoyed the creature designs in this one. The story is engaging, though a bit darker in tone, as you can imagine. Gameplay is quite fun, and all told, this is a pretty well-made dungeon crawler that belongs in your collection. Unfortunately, this game does come with a hefty price tag, so you might want to wait for a sale if the $60 asking fee is a bit too steep for you. Released back in 2018, the next dungeon crawler I'd like to shout out is The Seventh Circle Endless Nightmare from developer 68K Studios. Sticking with the first-person perspective, players can expect a savage challenge in this game and a really dark atmosphere, so kind of like the last game? Hey, we are talking about dungeons after all. Taking heavy inspiration from 90s classics, you'll battle demons through 19 levels while attempting to survive. With permadeath involved, expect to die a ton. And while this release is known for its brutal difficulty, the variety of secrets, spells, and engaging turn-based combat make it a worthy addition to this list. The Touhou franchise has been around for a long time and has taken many forms throughout the years, with Touhou Artificial Dream in Arcadia being a first-person dungeon crawler that uses a lovely 8-bit aesthetic. That's right, if you loved earlier retro dungeon crawlers, or happen to be a big fan of the Megami Tensei series, this might just be the game for you. Fans love this title in particular because it allows for great freedom in how you want to approach it. The battle system feels fun and fresh, keeping the mazes entertaining despite the hours that you'll spend in them. This game is also fully Steam Deck verified and has a demo available for you to enjoy as well. Let's crawl along to number 7. Next on our list is a game that will really appeal to hardcore old-school dungeon crawler fans. We're talking about the types of games where you need to draw out your own maps. Do you have the patience for that still? Well, you'll find out if you play Demon Lord Reincarnation on Steam PC. Reading the manual in this title is going to be crucial to your success, or else, well, good luck. It's ironic that a game so savagely brutal has such a simplistic plot about defeating a demon lord, so I wouldn't get into this one for deep narrative, rather a satisfying and grueling experience for you masochists out there. Number 6, while Labyrinth of Zangetsu was not met with universal acclaim, it still has its fans and offers up a gorgeous art style for the dungeon crawling genre. Survive the ink of ruin in this black and white world which utilizes the Japanese ink brush style to great effect. While the art is undeniably one of the strongest strongest aspects of the entire experience, the combat is still pretty solid, though you can expect to do a ton of grinding. The job system is well done alongside the wonderful art, so despite its flaws, this is still an entertaining playthrough that's worth your time. Now it's time for a little high school drama and romance. What do you say to that? Taking place in a high school located in Kowloon City, Hong Kong, you'll play as a new transfer student who gets caught up in a supernatural mystery. Kinda like Scooby-Doo, right? We're talking about Kowloon High School Chronicle, available on PC, PS, and Switch. Turn-based battles are snappy in this one and entertaining, with the game also having a deep branching narrative, making player choice a huge aspect of the overall experience. Also, fun fact here, this was originally a PS2 game before being ported over to modern hardware. While the translation may not be perfect, it's nice to have the option to play this one in English. Moving along, or should I say crawling along, to number 4, we next have Vaporum, which is a grid-based title that takes place in a steampunk setting. Unlike some of the other entries on this list, combat in Vaporum is real-time as opposed to turn-paced. You'll also encounter many mind-bending puzzles, and you can upgrade your character's exoskeleton, with the game having some fairly deep RPG mechanics. Much like most of the games on this list, expect a very steep challenge, but a rewarding experience. One of the earliest games ever featured here at iDream of Indie Games, we're talking about Children of Morta here at number 3, an outstanding dungeon crawler that is awesome both on and offline, especially with friends. The stunning pixel art and soundtrack set the tone for an addictive crawl through depressing dungeons full of monsters to be slayed. Learn all about the Bergson family as you take control of different members throughout the well-written narrative. Combat will remind you a bit of a classic action RPG, with the dungeons being procedurally generated. I can't recommend this release enough. So much work has gone into it ever since it initially released, but it looks like the developers have now finally moved on. Alright, you just can't have a list like this and not include Darkest Dungeon, am I right? A true indie classic here at number 2. This Lovecraftian-inspired RPG has so many cool mechanics, with my personal favorite being the fact that you have to factor how stressed out you are. It's honestly a very, very deep game, and that surprises some players. You're gonna need to learn the ins and outs of things in order to succeed. The brutal difficulty may turn some of you off, but I assure you the art, world, and lore of Darkest Dungeon will keep you coming back for more, and shout out to the excellent sequel as well. But let's close this list out number 1, and it might not be a surprise, but we're gonna go with another classic, Hades. Hades is the game that really seemed to put roguelikes on the map, for better or worse, but its impact is just undeniable. Combat is fast and satisfying, backed by an outstanding soundtrack that belongs in any indie game music lover's collection. The writing is exquisite, and there are just tons of abilities to be learned as well. I don't know about you, but we can't wait for Supergiant to bring us Hades 2 already. The wait is killing me. But that's gonna do it for this list, folks. We hope you enjoyed crawling along with us, and hopefully this video wasn't too much of a crawl. Thank you so much, as always, for supporting independent content. Perhaps you found the next dungeon crawler of your dreams right here. As always, patreon.com/iDreamOfIndieGames if you'd like to support us further. If you can't head over there, maybe consider hitting the like and subscribe button. That really helps us as well. Voice to the voiceless, I will see you on the channel for more indie gaming content.